What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Man, I got a fun little video tonight. Was planning to drop this tomorrow, but Mother Nature decided to fuck with Southern California and gifted us a hurricane in summertime in California, Los Angeles, and that's fucking weird. But outside of that, so I'm gonna try to get this out tonight because I don't even know if I'm gonna have power tomorrow. So yeah, let's dive into this and have some fun. First things first, shout out my man Christian for the graphics here with the Harden over here with Daryl Mory is the puppet, the Liberty Bell on the jersey. This dude is just nuts with the graphics, man. So shout out my man Christian right there. Shout out, I see DJ and Lakers in 5 and then the GOAT, Dan, the Laker fan in the chat early. Salute to both of you brothers. I appreciate both of you. Thank you so much. Now let's get started with this. So I did a video a couple days ago when I was talking about James Harden's tantrum over a pizza party that was promised to him on Fridays by the Philadelphia 76ers, and they did it for like a month, and then they took his pizza parties away, and I guess dude lost his fucking mind after that or something. I don't know. So that's the start of it. So after I was doing my kind of troll game on that, because I just couldn't, me being who I am, I just couldn't let that slide. So like I just had to have some fun with that shit. But now I'm trying to get a little bit more serious on it. I'm going to attempt to. I'm sure there'll be some stupidness along the way. But breaking down some of the financial aspects of this and just, the craziness that happened with this whole situation. So let's start back. Let's take this back for a second and let's get back to where James Harden in Houston. And when James Harden was in Houston, Daryl Mory was the guy that went and plucked him out of OKC, who didn't want to pay him the max, didn't want to even really make him a starter, didn't want to feature him. And Daryl Mory saw the star potential, the number one guy on the team potential in James Harden, and went out and got him, right? Gave out the money, got it to him, and traded for him, and then like immediately extended him, right? So he saw the talent and the star potential in him before he even played a game for the Houston Rockets, okay? So this was the guy that got him paid, which Sam Presti in Oklahoma City did not want to do. Daryl Mory did that, okay? Then he went and basically had Kevin McHale there as a head coach. James Harden didn't really like him too much, so he went ahead and he got rid of Kevin McHale, went in, brought Mike D'Antoni, more Harden-style friendly coach, and a guy that's going to let him chuck up all the shots he wants, run and gun, play no defense, and not get shoot out for it, right? So that's what he does. He goes and gives him kind of the coach of his choosing, the situation of his choosing, and then literally traded like every big man on the roster. Literally, PJ Tucker was playing center for them that one season. And then Daryl Morey, got into a situation, which is, we got to pay attention to these things here. Daryl Morey got in some trouble with some things he'd said about China and the Houston Rockets being a major brand in China, dating back to their years with Yao Ming. And then he had to go, right? So he was like, okay, I want to go back to the Northeast. He ends up in Philly. James Harden goes through his tantrum, puts on the fat suit, acts like he gained some weight, forces a trade. Now, he really wanted to go to Philly at that time. He wanted to go to Philly. He didn't want to go to Brooklyn, really, but he accepted it because it meant getting out of Houston and potentially playing for a championship. So he accepted the trade to Brooklyn, went there, wasn't going to sign an extension, threw another tantrum, and then basically demanded a trade out of there by leveraging his play that he wouldn't extend. And then Philadelphia, who already had a problem on their hands in Ben Simmons because of stupid-ass Doc Rivers not knowing how to back up his players in a press conference at the end of the season, wants out. And then so eventually the sides matched up. They made a trade. James Harden ended up in Philly after originally being rerouted through Brooklyn. Ended up in Philly where he thought he wanted to be, right? That's where he was. That's where he is. And all was well for a while, right? And then last summer happened. Young Africa, I see you, champ. What's up, my guy? Thanks for tapping in. Appreciate you, bro. So then, and I'm going to drop the link for whoever wants to come in a little bit. I just want to get the story off real quick, and we'll go from there. But so last summer happens, and, James Harden wants to get his boys paid. He wants to get some of his guys over there, more than likely because he wanted to kind of get some more guys on the roster, probably to push back on Doc. I don't think that Harden really wanted Doc there from the get-go, didn't really like him from the get-go. So that's just kind of my take on that. So that's how I think what happened right there. What's up, my guy? Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. So James Harden agrees to, kind of take less money so that PJ Tucker and Daniel House can come in, and the former Rockets can come join the former Rocket teammate and former Rocket executive in Philadelphia. So they do that. Things, go pretty well. They're playing well. They had Harden had injuries, Joel had injuries, but this season, like, I'd given up on Philly. I'd said numerous times, like, these guys just keep falling off. Like, they play great regular seasons and they just can't finish it. And then it goes and shit hits the fan, right? So they go in, they can't take out Boston again, and it's just a shit show. So Harden literally starts figuring a way how to get out of this place, right? Try to get out. Joel wants him to stay. That's important too. Joel wants him to stay. And then somewhere along the way, Harden starts looking out there and seeing, like, where can I get my money here? Like, in this free agency, if I wanted to leave, if I wanted to dip Philly, if I wanted to grab my cheesesteak and get the fuck out of Dodge, where am I going to go? Starts looking around the league. There's no money for him. There's no money for him. There's no contract available for him. There's nothing. So if his desired destination was the Clippers, they have no money to give him. So he wasn't going to opt out and go take, like, the minimum there. They don't even have a mid-level. So at the end of the day, like, you knew that was going to happen, right? Like he was going to try to force his way there via trade simply because he couldn't get his ass there any other way, right? So he tells the Clippers, probably back channel, let's do this. He tells them, I'll opt in if you trade me to the Clippers. Now, as far as I can tell, as far as him saying he was lied to, what I believe and what I'm hearing is that he was told, if you opt in, we'll trade you. So he opted in, and they tried to trade him, with the Clippers being the Clippers and all. The Clippers have publicly backed out of one trade this summer. That's publicly. But I'm telling you right now, there's been two other ones that were potentially pretty big deals that they backed out of. So the Clippers are the culprit in this. So for James Harden to go on his tantrum and call Daryl Morey a liar, I believe Daryl Morey meant it. Okay, look, I'll trade you, but he can't make a trade that his owner doesn't approve, right? So, and if he's saying he wants to be traded, then the Clippers are trying to leverage that by keeping Terrence Mann out the deal. So Philly's like, okay, they went at it. And what really happened here is the Clippers backed out of the deal, and then Philly announced they're not trading him. Not because they don't want to trade him. It's because the Clippers backed out and they have no other partner. So that's where we're at now. Then Harden goes to China. Again, China, who hates Daryl Morey and chooses there to blast the guy publicly. All right. That's the craziest part of it all. So he did some stuff you can't take back. He might as well have slapped Morey's wife. He tried some crazy. He did some disrespectful stuff that he can't take back now. And that's all what James Harden is about, is making shit uncomfortable. And now we're to the point where he's like, I'm not going to play for you. I'm not coming to training camp. I'm not showing up. I'm not coming. Trade me. And now we got the stare down. And that's where we're at. And this is where it's going to get pretty interesting, because James Harden has no problem in making Philly get uncomfortable, making that ownership group get uncomfortable, making his teammates get uncomfortable. You know what I mean? He has no problem with it. You're going to see James Harden go on like a strip club tour during training camp, just doing everything he can other than play basketball, is essentially what you're going to see. And at the end of the day, Laker girl, what's up? I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And yeah, for sure. Clippers are straight ass. But so yeah, if no team man, what's the package the Clippers can offer? Africa, that's a good point, right? So I'm gonna get to that in a second. But what I'm saying is that James Harden is trying to leverage his way to where he wants to go to. And now Philadelphia is stuck in an area where they can't get they can't extract what they want out of the Clippers, right? So Philly wants a player that can, and this is really hard to do. Philly wants a player they can get that can keep them in championship contention, short-term deal, and valuable draft picks. Now the Clippers don't have that. The Clippers don't have the player to keep them in contention. They have the contracts at short money and short-term money, but they don't have that player that's like him or the valuable draft pick that they want, right? So that's kind of where it is. And that's kind of where it's stuck at. So the Clippers have something they do. They can do like the Clippers can make the money work. They got to get to like 32.4 million to trade for Harden. If Harden doesn't demand the trade kicker, which is 15%, which would means the Clippers would have to ship out a little over 37 mil to get him. So that would have to be worked out pre-trade, and they would have to decide, okay, am I going to waive this trade kicker or am I not? If he's going to probably leverage that to not, if it's a team he doesn't want to go to, he probably won't waive it. If it's the Clippers, he probably will. So I'm going to assume that he's going to waive the trade kicker to go to the Clippers, and then it will be some combination of Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Coffee, one of the, and there's Batum there too. So any of those combinations of guys with some fillers and a pick. Now that gets them like a pick. I don't know how valuable it's going to be. Some players that are role players, no real guy to replace them. But it is short-term money. So that's probably the best deal the Clippers are willing to do for him. And he just doesn't really want to do that trade. So Daryl Morey doesn't want to do that trade. The Clippers don't want to offer Terrence Mann, which, I don't know why the Clippers just wouldn't do that at this point. James Harden is better than Terrence Mann, but we'll see what's going on with that. But so that's kind of where we're at. So James Harden is going to continue to make this uncomfortable. I don't know. I assume that the Clippers talks will pick back up with Philly. And so far as I can tell, Chicago hasn't really been too interested in like a Zach LaVine for Harden swap. I don't know if Philly's really interested in that swap. So that's the interesting part, man. So that's where we're at. And I'm just interested to see you on the chat. Do you think Harden still ends up with the Clippers? Do you think he suits up for one game in Philly at all? Or do you think he tries to sit this out as long as he can? And one thing to keep in mind, appreciate you, Dan. One thing to keep in mind is the new CBA has that rule where if you sit out 30 games or more, well, once you get to 30 games, then Philly can basically ban him from going anywhere else. He does not get to become a free agent essentially until Philly decides to. So he can't just say, okay, I'm going to sit out for the year if you don't trade me and sign with the team of my choice next summer, because it's not going to work. They won't allow it. So that's one side of it. So there's also like public trade demand of a $150K fine, which he probably doesn't care about. But the layer that people always forget about that little statement is fine and suspension. So if he gets suspended, then he will start to lose more money on top of it. And also that trade kicker, as each day of the season proceeds, it goes down a percentage. So that money you would have to pay would be less and less on top of that. So that's where they're at. So let's see here. I think he's gone, man, because the longer he's there, I think the riskier it becomes you lose Joel Embiid. And that's a fact, Dan. That's an absolute fact right there. I'm going to touch on that in a second, because I think this is just the first domino to fall in Philly. And I think that I really think that Joel is going to have his own little tantrum to throw here. That's for sure. My brother-in-law is a huge Kings fan. He said Kings might be in the mix for Harden, but Philly is going to want Monk, Herter, and others. DJ from Lakers and 5. Yeah, I mean, when you look back and you see Sacramento really didn't do a bunch this offseason. They kept the core together. They worked out some stuff with Sabonis to get him extended. They really haven't, they added Ronnie's in the well. Like they really haven't done much to their roster. So I could see like maybe do that, but I don't know if they'd want to break up. I think I would, if I were them, I'd try to add on top of it. And not, I don't know, if you're a team like the Kings who are up and coming, I just don't think you want any part of James Harden, right? Because you got a good young team there, a team that could be together for a long time, great chemistry. I wouldn't mess with that. See, the Clippers, I understand why, because they've got limited resources to do things. Like a lot of their tradable assets have gotten older. Kawhi and PG, like the injury, I don't even know if they wanted to move them, what value that there would be for them. Where the Kings, they've got valuable pieces that they can move. So if they decided to break that up a little bit, I think they could get a better fit and someone who could fit their culture a little better than James Harden. Why do you think Clippers value man so highly? Well, I think they value him highly character-wise. He kind of plays multiple roles for them. He's low cost. His coach, like the front office, loves him. So at the end of the day, I think if it was another player, like I think if it was a player the Clippers really, really wanted versus okay, we'll take him, I think they'd give up Terrence Mann. But I don't think James Harden is to the point where they're like, we have to have him, so we're going to give him up. I think they're going to try to wait this out to see if they can get Harden and keep Matt, is what I think they're trying to do. Let's see here. What kind of package do you think that it will take from a team, let's say the Knicks, to potentially land Joel if he becomes available? Ooh, man. Now see that's going to be interesting. Joel's coming up on 30 years old, injury prone, always injured in the playoffs. But I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I'm shout out to Lakers of 5. I ain't gonna lie, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. I think Joel needs to go to New York. That would be, man. Joel, man, hold on. That would be all of New York City if Joel goes to the Knicks. Let me tell you. All right, that'll be New York City if Joel goes to the Knicks, and he should go to the Knicks, and I hope he goes to the Knicks. But the package will be whatever they want. Whatever they want. Give them whatever they want. You get a player like Joel Embiid in New York City. Give them whatever they want. You know what I mean? Make it happen. Just make it happen. Because you get Joel there. You get a star that said they wanted to go there. You trade for them. Just make it happen. And once you do that, then you can just completely rebuild that franchise with him as your piece. And, go from there. Obviously, I would love to keep Brunson if I was them. If I could end up with Joel Embiid, and Dan, I got to look at the math. I haven't put that together yet. So I'm a little blind right now. But I'll get you that information soon, though. But if I were the Knicks and I can get Embiid without somehow giving up Brunson and Hart, then anything you want, literally anything you want. Go to my kitchen, open the cupboards, take whatever the fuck you want, take my favorite snacks, take whatever you want, get them out of here. Get them what they want. Let's see here. In New York would definitely be nice. I'm telling you, man, New York City would lose their damn minds if they got Joel Embiid. Telling you. So you think Joel's just a world-class troller already? You get New York City behind him. Oh my God. Go New York, go New York, go. But yeah, so that's kind of where we are with this. And the Joel Embiid thing is going to be interesting. They added Nick Nurse there in Philly, and that's an interesting fit because Joel has already kind of talked trash about him in the past, and it's a weird dynamic. I don't know what Philly's doing. When you just look back at everything that they've done, it's just been really, even the whole thing with the whole process, like Joel was the only one that stayed. Every decision they've literally made has like backfired on them. And I just don't know what the hell they're doing. I just don't get it. So now on the other side of that, like they do got Tyrese Maxey, who's a really good ball player who they don't want to pay this summer because they want to keep their books a little light so they can try to do some damage next summer when either Harden comes off the books or whoever they trade for comes off the books. Tobias Harris money comes off the books, and Philly could be sitting there if they could somehow get Joel to chill and Maxey, has another great year. You can go out and get someone legitimate via trade or free agency to add to those two. I just don't know if Joel is going to be patient, and I just don't know how the Harden situation is going to turn out for us to even go from there. Where do you predict Harden's playing and when October rolls around? Dan, I don't know if he's playing in October. I think there's a chance he's still in Philly, but not playing. What you gotta pay attention to is, and I gotta look at the schedule. Whatever their 30th game is important. So it's that maybe 2 months, 2.5 months into the season. Wherever the 30th game is when he starts to be in that CBA trouble where they can really punish him. So I don't know, but I'm gonna say that he's not traded by October. The reason I'm gonna say he's not traded by October is because check this out. All the players that signed, re-signed with their teams or signed free agent contracts, a lot of those guys can't be moved between December 15th and January 15th. So I think that if Philly is going to trade him and they want to get the best value for him, what they think they can get, or not, maybe not best value, but if they want more options, like let's say the Clippers are holding out like Africa said, why do you think Clippers value man so highly is because they're just leveraging the play, right? But if you get to these other teams and there's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever other teams now, they're like, you know what? We can get Harden for the second half of the year. We'll see what happens. Maybe we got someone that we don't love and we could take a chance on it. Now Philly's leverage goes up a little bit because they've got more options. They've got more teams they can move him to. And if Harden says he doesn't want to play there, then he's only going to wait a couple months to do it. So at the end of the day, like waiting till December, January, or even the trade deadline, is probably the best bet for Philly to get more options on the table. So I'm going to go ahead and give me 1 second here. I'm going to go ahead and drop this link for anyone that wants to pull up here, because you guys have been listening to me babble for a while. But yeah, let me get that there. So that's where that's what I think happened. So I don't think he's traded by October, unless like if the Clippers wake up one morning and they're like, yo, okay, hold up, stream bar tripping. Give me 1 second. There we go. All right. If they're just gonna sit up here and be like, sorry guys. All right, cool. If they're gonna sit back and wait for more options and more people to to bid on Harden services, then waiting for that time is probably going to be the best way to do it. But the only thing that could really shake that up is if Joel, they get in the training camp, Harden's not showing up, he's not feeling what's going on there, and Joel comes out and he's like, yo, I want out of here, trade me. And he says that in training camp, and then all hell just breaks loose at that point, because who knows what the hell's going to happen when he does that. Because then you're sitting back and you're like, okay, I got two disgruntled stars that want to be traded. I don't know if Joel would sit out. I don't think he would. He's missed enough games. I think that guy needs to get more stats on his resume there. But I think it'll get to a point where he will be demand out, and then that could really throw a wrench into what they're trying to do there. Nick Nurse, you got a new coach there. Mory's probably going to be out of there at some point, because especially if Joel demands a trade, you went in there just completely just jacked up that whole situation. And, Philly, even though all the bullshit they've been putting themselves through, kind of self-inflicted, like they've been able to perform. Like they've had good seasons. Injuries have been a problem. They had Doc Rivers, so coaching decisions had been a problem. But outside of that, like the team has been performing. So we got to see like how that goes there. But let me see. So I'm gonna load up just for kicks here. I'm gonna load up New York's. Let me load up New York's books here, and let's see what New York could put together to get a player like Joel Embiid, because that would be, man. I'll be getting excited if Joel ends up in New York, then that's great for the league. That's great for New York. That's great for the fans. It's great for Joel, really, because he's a guy that I think can take all the trash that Philly fans talk. I'm gonna say if he could take the fans of Philly fans talk, that he could take the trash that New Yorkers can talk. So let's see. So Joel's looking at, let's see, Joel's money is hefty. So he's looking at about 47. He's making almost $48 million this year. Jesus. Good God. So $48 million. So before that would even happen, like before you could even, and how long is Joel signed here for? Let's see. Joel's got 1, 2, 3, got a player option. So Joel's got 4. So you're going to get Joel up until he's 29 now. So you're going to have Joel up until the point where he's 33 years old. So 33 years old, you're going to have Joel Embiid if you trade for him. And about 47.5 million, 51.5 million, and then 55 billion, and his player option at 58 million in 26-27. So let's just think about that real quick. So Joel Embiid signed a 4-year, $213 million deal with Philly. Okay. So let's look at this. So you got to get about 47.5 million if you're in New York. So let's go to their books real quick. And this is where the shit is going to get interesting, because, man, that's a lot of money. That's essentially what Westbrook was making, right? But at the end of the day, like, one, he's more desirable, and you got players and stuff you can move around to that. So give me 1 second here. Biggest star New York ever had for the Knicks. I mean, obviously Patrick Ewing wasn't out in the social media days. Stephon Marbury wasn't out in the social media days. But as far as a star, along with the MVP on the resume, the ability, yeah, man, he's right there. Joel would be, I'm telling you, man, and his ability to market himself just by talking shit would be just incredible. Oh, for sure. Hey, Eric, what's up, man? Appreciate you tuning in. Elton Brand as a GM was a disaster. He is, especially when he got up there that one time on like national TV, and he was like, once a Sixer, always a Sixer. Like, don't bring that stuff there. Come on, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, Angie, what's up? What's up? Oh man, good. I got someone to help me with the books tonight. I'm gonna put you to work, Angie. Appreciate you. that's my that's my idol, Angie, right there. She the goat when it comes to these numbers. Let me see. Catch up to some of these. Here we go. There we go. Okay. So, and Angie, I'm trying to do this on the fly. So Angie, actually, you know what, Angie, if you got the numbers up, which I'm sure you probably do. Dan asked a question earlier about what do you think the package would be for New York to get Joel Embiid, assuming, yeah, appreciate you. Please get them likes up. Assuming Joel demands a trade and he prefers New York, or New York wants to go after him because they got assets. What do you think? What do you think a trade package would be for Harden? Sorry, for Embiid. So right out top, you probably would have to throw Randall in for money. I know Philly wouldn't necessarily love getting him, but he's making about 28 mil with incentives. So that's a likely incentive. So his cap figure is about 28. So that Julius would probably have to go. Or Evan Fournier, because he's making about 18. These are going to be kind of fillers here, but if you're going to get to a point where you want like value, you're going to have to get RJ Barrett, maybe, but yeah, man, Mitchell Robinson. I was sitting here saying if they could keep Brunson and Josh Hart out of a deal, that would be fantastic, and whenever they want. I just don't know if there's enough here to get that deal done without those two. So, so I'm looking at the further I look at this roster. But we can check on their draft picks here and see what they got coming up draft wise. So the Knicks, let's see. So 2024, it's a Dallas protected pick. It's going to Detroit, and they got Detroit. Let's see. Top 18 protected pick going to Detroit. They might be able to hold on to that. So the Knicks potentially could have 4 first-round picks next summer. So they've got their own. They've got they've got Dallas's pick. Well, Dallas gets it if it's top 10 protected. So if it's outside of the top 10, they keep their pick. Let's see, Detroit. Detroit has a top 18. So no. So they've got to get to like 18 in order to keep their pick from. They got OKC, man. They got so many protections on here. So they got their own, and they've got other ones that are mixed up in here. Washington's. So they got potentially 4 items they can move for 2024. For 2025, let's see, they got their own and a bunch of other mixed up ones here as well. So this is, my God. Yeah, I got to put this up. Hold on. I want to put this up on the screen here real quick because this is nuts. So you can see what I'm struggling with here. Hold on. This is crazy. Give me 1 second. I'm going to show y'all what the hell their draft situation looks like here. All right. So y'all can see this here. So I'm going to put this all right here. All right. So New York, this is a hot mess of all these. When you look, you got the tied up with Dallas. They've tied up here with Detroit. They got their own. They got one right here. They got one between Washington and them. In 2025, same thing. Dallas and them, Detroit and them, same thing. If they miss on these, it pushes to the next year because because Dallas pick could have went to New York if they didn't. That's why they tanked. So these situations just kind of just roll to the next year. So you got all these tied in here where all these different teams are tied up with positioning with Knicks picks. So I'm going to go out and say the Knicks could probably give 4 first-round picks for Joel. So I'm going to say the Knicks could probably give 4 first-round picks for Joel. And this is a hot mess to sort out. But they got a gang of picks that they could work with. So on the strength of that, they can make a deal happen, I think. And then you're probably going to have to throw in some type of combination, one of Randall, maybe a RJ Barrett, those picks. You might have to give away a Josh Hart. You've got Quickly, Grimes. You've got pieces there that are younger guys that they might want. I just don't know. They're gonna have to give up a gang of ticks. They got so many protection on picks. Should be sponsored by Tro. Shout out to Dan, man. Man, that's true. That's true. They got so many protections on them damn joints. That shit is crazy. Randall Robinson quickly 3 first. Okay, there we go. That gets him in the conversation. So I was thinking about that. Randall for the money. Robinson is he's not young, he's not old. Quickly is younger. 3 first-round picks. I think that's right there in the area where the conversation starts. And I'm sorry, I was kind of all over the place, guys. I was trying to read this stuff should have had this up ready before we went live. But this starts here. I'm curious if they would want, if they maybe would want RJ Barrett instead of Randall. Randall's got a shorter term deal, but Randall's younger, has more potential maybe moving forward. That's a longer term deal though, but we'd have to see about that. If I'm the Knicks, I'm doing it though. Oh, for sure. Like I said, DJ, I said if they could get Joel for anything they have, anything south of 5 picks, and anything other than Brunson and Hart, I do it in a second, do it immediately, make that shit happen if I'm New York. That is a solid, yeah, I agree. That's a solid package. So, like I said, I'll go back to Angie's trade one because I think that's good. She puts together good trade packages. I think this is a good one. I think you might be able to swap out potentially Randall for RJ Barrett and some type of combination there. And I think something along the lines of this could work. They may want, and I'm sure there might be some like pick swaps in there too. So if you get like, even though Knicks got a gang of pick swaps already showing up there, if you add, some more on top of that, I think you could get that done. But there's going to be other teams out there. So imagine Joel goes on the market and you got a team like OKC sitting over there. And I keep seeing every time, and shout out to Dan on the show around the league. I'm always throwing it out there. Just be ready when another like superstar level player or like a like perennial all-star MVP, a star player wants to get moved. OKC has aligned themselves with assets in the draft to be able to make that happen. So that would be something to keep around. I know they got Chet there. They're really high on him, and one injured big man for another. But I would think that Philly would absolutely want him in that deal. And OKC may just be like, you know what, we're gonna ride with this guy. He kind of fits our culture. Doesn't mind living in this area, and go from there. But I think the Knicks, if Joel, can you guys think of anyone else if Joel Embiid demanded a trade? One, a team that he would be willing to go to. Two, the team that had the assets to get him. Because I would say he would go to Miami, or he'd want to go to Miami because he loves Jimmy. But they'd have to give up Bam to get him, because I just feel they're trading them to Miami without getting Bam, I don't think is possible. But it's same thing. So great minds think alike. So I think it would come down to like the Knicks, Miami. I'm sure the Clippers would love to get involved, but they really don't have like the pieces, to do it. I'm sure the media would love for the Lakers to be involved. They have some type of AD or Joel swap, but to be honest, I don't think that's happening. So I'm trying to think like what other teams, Bam, Hero plus picks, and not to mention, but Miami's creeping up on that second apron. So I don't know if financially they'll be able to make a trade, or they'll be able to aggregate players and do things to where they can get within percentage. It would have to be dollar for dollar and potentially even one player only. And I don't think they have what it takes. The Flippers, I don't think they have what it takes to make it work, especially if they get in that second apron. Don't know if I want to go there, but New Orleans is interesting. For Zion, right? Probably would be what it would be built around, the foundation of that trade. I really think that it would. That's not bad. But I think it would. I think it would come down to New York and Miami for Joel if he put it out there. That's just something I'm just like blatantly missing. I don't see Boston making a play for him. I don't see, like I said, the Clippers don't have the parts. The Lakers probably wouldn't. Not that they wouldn't be interested, but I think they're gonna ride out what they have. Outside of that, I'm not sure. Hey, Chris, what's up, my guy? Christian, shout out to Christian, man. He did this graphic right here on the screen. He's doing a lot of great work for me lately. He does tremendous and endless great work for Dan, the Laker fan, man. And Christian's a good part of the circle, good part of the team. And appreciate you, Christian, man. Thank you. So let's see here. But let me because I'm looking at Miami's book, because I had that up earlier when I was looking at something, and they they're like right on the doorsteps of that second apron. So they're about to be handcuffed. And then like Pat Riley doesn't seem to care at all about anything. He's just going to keep trying to get people. But at some point, these rules are gonna like handcuff him, and he's not gonna be able to do so. They're like one move away from kind of being stuck for a while in who they got. So, but outside of that, I really don't see anything. I think it would come down to New York, Miami. And it's interesting because could you imagine Philly with Harden? It's almost like Brooklyn, right? Like when we sat back and you had KD and Kyrie, and it's like all of a sudden those trade demands, and then out of nowhere, like that team was unrecognizable from what they were like just a few months back. And now it's a whole new team. And now they've entered kind of like no man's land. They're in the middle there. They're not a top 3 seed. They're not out of the playoffs / play-in. So they're not where they're, going to get a lottery pick, and they're not where they're contending for a championship, but they've got a solid squad, but they're kind of right there in the middle, not really playing for nothing, not collecting a bunch of picks. And so Brooklyn, I've always said, man, if Brooklyn wanted Dame, I think they could get him because they've got the pieces to do it. I just don't think they're going to break it up. But they could get involved here and get crazy too. But Brooklyn is right there with the assets, a market that guys want to play in. I just don't know if people want to play for that owner anymore. Now, bang, there we go, Angie. Now we talking. Because I was, I had a crazy idea earlier. I'm gonna touch on this before I touch on that. Earlier I was thinking, and I was like, you know what? If Daryl Mory gets to a point where he just wants to forget getting the long-term star player back, forget getting someone that can help you this year and beyond, and Harden's level, younger, and some picks. I was sitting here thinking, like, imagine the Warriors flipping Chris Paul for James Harden. They got picks. So, like, if they give him picks in like 28, 30, 26, you can't trade back to back. But if you gave him like a 26 and a 28 with some protections on there, long when Steph is done, Clay is done, Draymond's done, those picks have value. So for Golden State, it kind of doesn't really like matter. It's like they're going to get, they're going to be trading CP for Harden. Philly would get a player that, they could help them now and would be a good mentor for Maxey. And those picks would be valuable. So that's what I was kind of thinking of earlier today. I was like, let me think about that. But now that Angie said this about Golden State, I think Golden State's going to do something crazy this year. And I think that Chris Paul contract is going to be tied into that, and maybe Kuminga. But I think that could definitely happen. Golden State, definitely keep your eye on them, especially how the season starts. If the season starts kind of, they're not doing too great. I think the reason why they went out and got Chris Paul, one, they wanted to get rid of Jordan Poole, but two, they wanted a guard that could fill some minutes when either Clay or Steph were hurt or taking games off. Chris Paul can do that. So can James Harden. Search and Destroy. What's up? Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. Thanks for tuning in. Let's see here. Warriors are always landing cheat code teams. They are. But Dan, it is like you run a great channel, right? You run a great business, right? Well, Warriors do too. Like they run a great organization. They run a great business. They run a team that people want to play for. They got a great arena. The fans can be obnoxious, but hey, a lot of fan bases are. They're smart, and they cover their books well. They do things that make things look. They're sitting there as a second apron team, but I'm guarantee you they can figure a way to get to what they got to do. Like they'll figure a way. They got these guys on contract so they can move them. And like I said, that Chris Paul thing, that was a genius move from the aspect of they wanted rid of Poole almost instantly, buyer's remorse immediately, and getting Chris Paul got him out of that deal long term, and they could probably still flip it for something else. So let me see. I would do that because CP3 likely gets injured. Yeah, you know what? I was thinking about that too, but when I dove into that earlier, CP3 has played more games than James Harden over the last handful of years. James Harden, since his last full year in Houston, hasn't been on the court as much as you think, whether it be trade demands or injuries. He's not on the court as much as you think, and Chris Paul has been on the court more than him. So Chris Paul playing with guys that that he doesn't have to play as many minutes. But I thought that at first too, Search. But when I looked it up, Chris Paul's actually been more available than Harden has of late. Let's see here. Let me see. I can't wait for a CP3 Draymond fight at some point this season. It probably will happen. I don't know if it'll happen publicly. I don't think he's gonna punch him out. You know what I mean? Like he did with Jordan Poole. But I guarantee those two will get into it. Chris Paul got little man syndrome, and Draymond got about every syndrome you can have. So that's definitely probably something that could happen. We'll see what happens about that. Yeah, they have no loyalty to CP3. They don't. They got him for his contract, I believe. I do not believe he finishes the year there unless he just goes in and makes a tremendous impact to where they can't trade him. But I think they got him. I look back at what Golden State did when they got D'Lo. Everyone knew they weren't going to keep him. They got him to get that contract that would be movable for something of high value later for a guy that they wouldn't be able to sign as a free agent, and it ended up being Wiggins, so which helped them lead to a championship. So they've made this play before. If you look at their playbook, this is right what they do. So let's see here. Let's see here. Did I miss anybody here? Let's see. Serge, he said, hey, Gerald from Lakers Fast Break. Salute to you, man. Appreciate you. Appreciate the support. I love your channel as well. And I definitely begin with you soon. I'll be gotta get my schedule lightened up. We'll definitely probably do a show next week or the week after for sure. Let's see. All right, cool. Okay, so when you look at Golden State, I think that they could make a swing for both of these, not both, but either one of these players if they really wanted to. But that would be interesting. I really think that, Harden, there's a chance Harden can go to Golden State or Joel can go to Golden State. But I don't know. I don't really know how many other teams out there would be really interested in Harden. Like I said, unless, they've got players that become available in December and January and they got contracts that they can move and that Philly is open, to doing that deal. So we got to wait and see from that standpoint. But outside of that, I don't know really. One team that could get crazy for either one of these guys, but it can't be right now. And it can't be until like I said, that time frame, but December, January. It's a team that's crazy. They got an owner that's willing to do some crazy stuff. And they got a fit there that doesn't really work that we've seen yet. And that's Dallas. And Dallas has got some pressure on them to get their shit together before they're in a situation where Philly's in and Luka's demanding a trade. So Philly's already in that mess. Dallas is approaching that. So Kyrie might be out of there. And that could happen, around Christmas time. You know what I mean? So if it's not working for them and Luka and the Kyrie experience is just not what it should be, then you could start saying maybe a Kyrie for Harden swap. Kyrie's currently making more than Harden, so there have to be some filler there, but they've got pieces to do it. And that would be an interesting one to keep their eye on. And if Embiid becomes available, then I could see Dallas doing whatever they could. Dallas is really hard for Dallas to sign free agent stars. They'll trade for them. They've proven that time and time again. So I could see Dallas going all in on trying to get Joel Embiid as well. So that's one to keep an eye on. Dallas is definitely one. Kyrie for D'Lo filler who says no. Oh my God. Man, I I don't think Cuban would take part in anything sending Kyrie to the Lakers. He doesn't want to help the Lakers. He doesn't want to help LeBron. Funny thing about this is Cuban will never do anything to support or help the Lakers, but he's like really cool with Genie Bus. They're like really close. It's crazy. But they're competitors, and he doesn't cross that line when it comes to that. So that would be interesting. But I don't see Dallas doing anything to Kyrie related with the Lakers. But I could see Kyrie getting moved at sometime this year if him and Luka continue to struggle, with their fit. Although that Smoky Cuban packed it. Facts, right? Facts. So Cuban's a tough cat, man. He's tough, but I'm telling you, a guy like him, he's always wanting to. One, he wants to do the splash. Two, he wants to. He's competitive as hell. He wants to win. He likes stars. He does treat his stars fairly well, and so that's what I'm saying. I think Harden is a possibility there, definitely. No, yeah, DJ for sure. He's definitely not helping the Lakers. I don't see a world where where Cuban does anything. Like even in this whole Christian Wood situation, he's really just trying to fleece the Lakers. He don't want Christian Wood. He don't want him there. He wants him gone. He's saying, pack your bags, get the hell out of here. But he's like, yo, if I can get Vando, like for him, let's do it. Let's do it. But he got no interest whatsoever for trying to help the Lakers in any way. He wouldn't mind trying to fleece the Lakers. I don't think really Dallas has done anything with the Lakers since correct me if I'm wrong, but since the Lamar Odom trade. Like, I don't think, and that was because they got the former sixth man of the year for basically like a first round pick, right? They got him for cheap. So other than that, like if they're benefiting, but they were getting like the best player in the deal in that trade. Like there's no way they're gonna hand Kyrie over to the Lakers, which could make them even more of a championship, not contender, but probability. Because you have two of the guys that LeBron fit with best in his career on the same team. Man. But again, I do not see it happening. But I get why people are going to still talk about it. But the Kyrie shit, man, I believe that ship has sailed when it comes to purple and gold. But I think Kyrie could end up in Philly for sure. Let's see. Yeah, that's the part, because when you sit here and you look at what Kyrie's doing, like, man, I know people really are stuck on that on the Kyrie to the Lakers and Kyrie 2016 Kyrie and all these things. And I love Kyrie's game, but man, that is so Kyrie is okay. So he's at 37 mil. Okay, I'm sure his average was like 40%. So he got a trade kicker. Okay, no, he doesn't. So Kyrie about 37 million is Kyrie for this season. So that 37 million, so that's 37 million for Kyrie. You could pretty much do that for Harden, but to get with D'Lo's at what, like 17 something this year. The Lakers got LeBron at the top, AD at the top. You got D'Lo, Rui, Austin, and then you start to trickle down. But besides, I think the Lakers got another secret, some secret trade targets here that I'm gonna touch on another video, but I definitely think that's coming. So 1 second here.
Yo, what's up, bro?
Good, we got the GOAT in the house, man.
Man. just stopping by, man. I'm just trying to be a guest. I've been waiting for a long time to come on this show.
man, you've been blessing me with your platform, man. So by all means, I'll log out. This is your channel, man.
No, stop it.
I hear you. No, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate the pull up. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Good. Just trying to survive this storm that's supposedly coming. So,
man, the wind already getting crazy over here, man. I was like, I was gonna do this video tomorrow, but I don't know if I'm even on power tomorrow. So
yeah,
I'm like,
stay safe, fam. Definitely, man.
No, you for sure. So, but yeah, it's crazy. We're about to get a hurricane in California. That's just
isn't it? Like, what kind of witchcraft is this? What's going on?
It's crazy, this, man. But yeah, man, appreciate you having on. So, what do you think, man? I know you've been very active in the chat. I definitely appreciate you for that. Thank you so much for that. What do you
showing love, man? You're always showing love to me. So right back at you, brother.
No doubt. So what do you think? What do you think about Harden? What do you think happens?
Man, you know what? I call him James Softon. There ain't nothing hard about that guy. You know what I mean? This guy, man, let me tell you something about him. He's been flopping since 1990. Since the day I was born, this guy came out flopping like Vanilla Ice recent CD, man. So you know I mean, like it's one of those things where I'm just like, come on, man. Like, look, James, just collect your paycheck, bro. You're a grown ass man. Go to work. If it doesn't work out, you can request another trade midway through the season. Make stuff really uncomfortable. But I mean, show up to your job, right? What do we grown men do when we don't feel like going to work, right? We got to pay the bills, so we go to work.
Facts.
Right? So just go to work. That's all you got to do. And then if you want to keep talking smack to the media about your general manager, making him uncomfortable, and as a result, making Joel uncomfortable, then they're going to be forced to trade you anyways, right? Because that'll be a wasted season. So that's my whole take on James, man. What do you think, man? Who's in the wrong?
I think Harden's in the wrong. I look, Daryl Morey's a tricky little DJ. What's up, my guy? I see you here, man. I'm gonna get to you in a second right here. Daryl Morey has been shiesty as fuck, man. He's done all kinds of stuff. He's done. Yeah, let's not forget that when Dwight was with the Lakers and he started having there were some issues going on that Kobe, Howard, Nash team. That was Harden and Mory in his ear that whole season saying, fuck what they got going over here. Come over here with us. And now these motherfuckers are getting some fucking karma back their way. You know what I mean? They're getting some karma back there. That's right. Laugh at these motherfuckers' faces, right?
Yeah.
So they get some karma back, and then that's what they get, because you know what? They've messed around with too much shit. Like, they've ran anyone out of there, right? So Dwight got there, they ran him out, right? And then CP gets there, they ran him out, right?
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook got there, and they ran him out, right? Like, so it's like, and now they get to Brooklyn, they try to run Kyrie out, right? They try to run, they ran Steve Nash out, right? And then he gets to Philly, he wants to, which I salute him for this, runs Doc Rivers out, right? Now it's like, now he's like, I'm just over this shit, dude. Like, I can't remember a dude with these many trade requests. Like, I can't remember. This dude is a day trader, is an active ball player. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Dude,
so it's fucking nuts.
He's such a diva, man. The thing about Harden that has always pissed me off is that, and I think Kobe called it, right? He said his play style is not really a winning recipe, right? And so it rubbed some people the wrong way, because they were like, wait a minute, Kobe. Isn't that how you used to play? Right? But that's just the thing. His play style was always, in my opinion, he benefited from the Mike D'Antoni system. Right. As soon as they got rid of him, we started seeing some lapses in his game. We started seeing some faults. And then he got traded to Brooklyn. And that's, when the refs started cracking down on the flopping, his numbers went down.
That's a good point. That's a good point, because his whole game changer. I'll tell you what, when they got rid of D'Antoni, you know what happened? They probably got rid of the dietitian too, because that motherfucker got plump after that shit. So what I was saying, but DJ, what's up, my guy? What you got on this topic, man? What you think goes on with Harden here, man?
What's up, my brother? How you doing, man? Chilling.
I'm good. I'm good, man. Shout out to Lakers and Five. He's got a great channel. A lot of people don't know this, but when I first started getting brave enough to kind of hop on these YouTube streams and kind of like try to start putting my voice out here, Lakers and Five was the first channel I pulled up to, man. And he was graceful. He was graceful to me. He let me shine. And ever since then, man, I always show support to DJ's channel. He's always been good to me. So salute to you, my bro.
Nice.
Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate. Yeah, man. It's all love, man. You know what I mean? Like, we're all Laker fans, so it's love, man. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying? Real facts, man. But yeah, man, I agree with what the homie was saying. Dan, the Lakers fan, you know what I'm saying? Hey, shout out to you, brother. You're doing your thing over there, man. Real talk.
Appreciate you, man. Y'all too modest, man. Thank y'all.
Yeah, man, but I agree with pretty much everything he's saying, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's true, bro. I once they put in that rule, man, James Harden could not flop no man. It was just, we saw a big decline, you know what I'm saying, in his game, and the combination of him getting older as well. So, it was like the perfect storm for him, bro. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, bro, James Harden, bro, he just show up to work, bro. Stop all this drama stuff, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, you supposed to be this Hall of Fame type of player, man, and you going out bad, bro. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's not looking good for him, man. I tell you, hey, Jeff, you know about my vision, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Damn, man, no. Hold on. How do I ain't never in my life boot someone off a stream, DJ. I love you, but I will don't you do this shit, DJ. Don't you do this shit, man. Don't you do this shit, DJ. Don't you do it. Don't you bring that witchcraft to my channel, man. I'm trying to get this build. Don't kill it before it starts, bro.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie.
Oh man, Dad, I'm gonna tell you that story. I forbid him from bringing this up though, because my God, he almost spoke this into existence, and it just out of pure, like, he had a premonition or a vision, if you would. He didn't necessarily want it to happen. But I ain't gonna lie, he scared the shit out of me. I thought it was gonna happen. I was just like, oh my God, like, no.
Man, I tell you, once Kendrick Perkins started talking about it, I was like,
oh my God,
what we talking about? Chris Paul? Chris Paul coming in Lakers?
I don't want to do. No. Oh man, okay. I feel like I'm obligated to now, man. I just feel dirty now. This is crazy. But so he said DJ, correct me if I'm wrong. He said he had a dream, but I called it a nightmare. He said he had a dream Well, actually, in context, it's not a nightmare. But anyways, he said he had a dream that the 2024, the Lakers won the championship, and it was James Harden was there in the Lakers jersey.
Oh shit!
And I said, yeah.
Oh,
but I was just like,
you know what's crazy? What's crazy is that that's actually a real possibility. As we progress through the summer, man. Listen, his James Harden trade value not what it once used to be. And if you look at our team, we're full of young assets, and we got role players that are going to be valuable around December. And if he's still over there, I mean, I think they're going to take a desperation package, and that's when I think a team like the Lakers might. But here's the thing: the only thing about that is that I heard that some players around the league have lost respect for him. I don't know how true that is, right? But if that is true, then you can put all that to bed. But if it's not, LeBron got a lot of power, man. All it takes is one phone call.
Well, but I'll tell you.
See what I'm saying?
Well, okay. Now I got to go down this road because I got to respond, right? So now I got to go down this road.
Hey, Jeff. Hey, I'm about to be at work, man. I just came in and show some love, man.
Appreciate you, DJ. Drive safe tonight, brother.
Nice meeting you, bro.
All right, man. You too, man.
Right, man.
Yeah, no, DJ is a real one, Dan. Like he's a dope guy, man.
Cool. I have to check him out for sure. I've never heard of him, but
he showed me a lot of love early on, man. So, but check this out, Dan. I think my thing is if James Harden ever becomes a Laker, I don't think it's via trade. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think if James Harden becomes a Laker, I think it's similar to the route of how Russell Westbrook became a Clipper. I think he gets traded somewhere. Philly gets some assets.
He gets bought out.
He gets bought out, and then he could also go to the Clippers at that point too, right? But maybe there's something. Maybe Braun, works his ears. Say, look, we'll organize back channel, get this done. Another thing to think on, and again, damn it, now this is the more we talk about it, the more realistic it potentially becomes, right? But I think a lot of people forget that Pelinka was his agent, and he's never really had a real agent since Pelinka. And shout out to who said this? I want to give credit. I want to say it was one of the guys on ESPN. I think the guy that goes on Brian Winters, the guy that covers Dallas, McMahon. So he said that he hasn't had a real agent since Pelinka, and he says that's probably the problem with a lot of this is whoever is advising him or the people that cover his back are giving him his bad advice or not like keeping him in his lane to handle proper business. And so I never really thought about that because I didn't know who his agent was, And typically that's something I usually know, right? And I'm a fucking nerd, but for this I didn't know. When he said that, I was like, aha, there's a great point, because also it reminded me again, which I did know, but it's been kind of buried in the archives there, that Pelinka was his agent. You know what I mean? So if he becomes a free agent, if he gets traded somewhere and bought out, and you've got like the team, that he was his team growing up were the Lakers, and his agent is there, maybe he wasn't pushing for the Lakers because he knew for a fact they had no way to trade for him right now.
Right. No, that makes sense. I could definitely see something like that, coming to fruition. I'm not a James Harden fan, but if you could get him for free, nobody's complaining, right? Yeah. So, but yeah, man, I mean, so many interesting scenarios that still to play out this summer, man. We still on 13 roster spots. We're sitting there looking pretty with 13 with 2 available ones, man. And I can't even imagine who the Lakers are actually targeting at this point, right? If it's not Christian Wood anymore or Biyombo, I don't know. So
I think they are targeting Wood. I think the thing is I want to say my screen share. Okay. The thing about Christian Wood is I think that people aren't really, I think there's still like barring let me get to my point and I'll say, but I think there's still a very good chance that Christian Wood becomes a Laker. Christian Wood is sitting back looking for a team to open up salary that he can take more than the minimum from, because there's nothing out there more than the minimum right now. There's teams that got mid-level exception money, but no one wants to hard cap themselves for him. Miami can't even offer that. Miami has a $5 million exception, but they can't give it to him without going into a ridiculous tax, right? So they can't even give him a basic minimum without going into a ridiculous tax. So theoretically, like, they probably wouldn't even offer it unless they make a deal. So if they make a trade where they get more money going out that's coming in and they use that exception, then they're in play for him. But a pretty good size deal has to take place. Then there's about all these other teams up to about a third of the league who've got a good amount of mid-level exception money available, but they don't want to hard cap themselves in the event and take them out of the running from being a third or fourth team in one of these big deals to get assets for themselves. So they're holding their money there. The money's there. They're just not spending it, right?
Right.
So if one of those big deals
everybody's also watching Portland, right? Portland and Miami to see if that deal goes down right now, right? That's probably the domino that's holding up the rest of free agency, right?
Portland, Miami, Philly.
So that's true. Good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's interesting, man. And as far as the Harden thing we were talking about earlier, it's the Lakers. You just never know, right? We haven't had so many players we hated come through here. Patrick Beverley was the recent addition last offseason. So I wouldn't put it past the Lakers to try to, benefit and get better. And I don't blame them, I don't blame them. If they can find a way to get over the top, then they will do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if we can get, like I always said, I wouldn't trade for that Chris Paul contract, nor would I sign him anything north of the minimum. Same thing for Harden. I wouldn't trade for that deal, and I wouldn't offer him more than the minimum, which they really can't right now anyways. But if James Harden let's just a scenario of James Harden getting traded, bought out, and then you get him like for a prorated minimum deal, fuck yeah. I mean, no problem. That's low risk, high reward. The only thing that comes into play is because we've got great leadership in Braun, right? We've got a good culture. We've got a foundation there in place that he's not going to be able to come in there and just mess with the program. They're going to say bye. You know what I mean? They're just not going to do it.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I feel you. Nah, man, it's going to get interesting, man. I'm excited. Month and a half away, and the Dodgers been rolling, man. You've been keeping up with the Dodgers?
Oh, for sure. That's a dog days of summer. They're getting me through it, man. That 11 game winning streak. Yeah. They lost to the PlayStation Marlins yesterday. And regular Marlins came back down to earth today and they beat them. They're doing a doubleheader today. Yeah. So because of the hurricane situation. Yeah. They've been killing it
out there, brother. I know you're out there, really close to the waters and stuff. So stay safe, man.
You too, my guy. You too. So for sure. But let me see here. That's just supposed to be like all day tomorrow and Monday.
That's not. I'm very curious. I went to the grocery market. Motherfuckers racing to the. I was racing up against the storm or something. I don't know. I was just shopping patiently, but I see everybody running. I'm like, what's going on here? This reminds me of COVID all over again, man.
Exactly. It was like toilet paper gate all over again. It was crazy out there, man. I was looking. I was like, bro. Oh, you're going to see a gang of YouTubers streaming on their phones tomorrow in Cali. So the power goes out. And they're going to see like little 30-minute streams because their battery is going to die. They're going to be freaking out. So it's
including myself, man. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be looking like the weather forecast man.
Oh, man. Don't be one of those dudes that get caught on camera getting hit by like a lawn chair or some shit, bro. Like, and other dudes.
I'm YouTubers for the wrong reason, brother.
Yeah. No, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. But yeah, I think it's going to be quiet, right, for pretty much the rest of the summer until these trades happen. So that's why I picked like the wrong time to really try to start doing more on this channel. But
it's a good time. We need the content, Jeff. We need Empire Jeff, man. It's your empire. We just living in it, bro. So we need, we need the content. Even myself, man, I've really struggled to put out content recently just because, like you said, it's a little dry. But, been doing some Madden gameplay, a little bit of everything, man, just to mix it up. So, man, keep it up. I enjoy listening today to this stream and even joining it.
No, I appreciate you, man. I know. Like I said, you can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, brother. I appreciate that.
Oh, man.
It's bigger than YouTube with us, so I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Greatly.
This guy said Harden needs to retire. He looks like a clown right now.
Yeah. He does look like Harden is like, man, I don't know. When you look at him, like, he almost seems like a cartoon character, right? Can you even take him serious? Like when you look at him, like even from like his days, like since he's been in Houston, he's just always been odd, right?
And the crazy thing is, he's from my hometown, right? So Compton native, and it hurts me, man, because I wanted to like Harden so bad since his days in OKC, right? Very talented player. Just I don't know, man. I feel like this is the diva era in basketball, right? Where the player gets what he wants or he throws a tantrum, right? It's just the way it goes.
Yeah. I got some family in OKC, right? And I was out there in July, and when I was on the flight. So my connecting flight was I went from LA to Vegas and then Vegas to OKC. and vice versa on the way back. When I was flying there, the layover in Vegas, and I was there during summer league, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up, and I had like a 2-hour layover in Vegas. So I'm sitting there, and I just start talking basketball. And then the more I start talking to this guy, I didn't recognize his face, but I recognized his voice. I'm like, I've heard you. Like, I hear, but I didn't. I just kept talking. Then we get on the plane. We're both on a Southwest flight, so there's no assigned seats. You can pick wherever you want. We ended up sitting next to each other on the plane, just continue talking the whole way.
Nice.
And to find out that this guy, I knew who he was. I figured out who he was, and then he told me who he was, and then I was like, he was he's been covering the Thunder for a long time. Let's just say that covering the Thunder for a long time, way back in the day. He now works for the Thunder, so he's part of the Thunder organization, not an executive role. He doesn't nothing to do with that, but he works for. I'll just say he works for the Thunder in a content creating position. Okay,
that's awesome.
But he still covers the team, right? And he told me this story about. He told me the story about when Harden was in OKC and they were going down to the wire about potentially giving him a max deal for a guy coming off the bench. Didn't perform very well in the finals that year. And but he was extremely popular in OKC. Everyone loved the beard in OKC. He was huge, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so it came down to where they were deciding if they were going to give him this money, go into the tax, and be for a small market team. You already paid Durant, you already paid Westbrook. If you're going to pay him too, like that would have been really tough for that franchise to pull off. So it wasn't just the money of not giving him the max; it was the tax on top of it, right?
Right.
So what they did was they're like, you know what? Let's roll the dice. Let's see this real quick. And I know it was only preseason. I was like, this is crazy. I know it was only preseason, but what they did was it was the last preseason game of the year. They sat Durant, they sat Westbrook. And they said, let's see what Harden can do if we give him the keys. And he went out there and he just completely turned into Westbrook, like completely wet the bed.
Yeah.
So you have his last performance in the finals, which was pretty subpar. Now you say, okay, here we go. They gassed him up too. Like, show him what you can do. This is what we can do. We're going to give you the keys tonight. Just play like it's the finals. Play like it's the playoffs. Go. Like, and he wet the bed.
That's nuts. Wow. And you know what? I think a lot of the times, execs and front office GMs and all these people are testing certain players and even in garbage minutes, people don't realize that garbage minutes are important. Starting from training camp to preseason, garbage minutes are important because that's where sometimes you're getting evaluated. And that's a pretty cool story because it tells you that while James Harden probably wasn't as focused, or maybe he was trying to do his own thing selfishly, they wwere evaluating him for a potential long-term deal. That's nuts, bro.
And they shipped his ass out a couple of days later, and for a package that was extremely weak.
I remember that package. Yeah, headlined by Kevin Martin. Remember?
Yeah. Kevin Martin. I think they got Jeremy Lamb in that deal. Like, maybe Steven Adams too. I think, but I'm just like, it's just that story of how like that's what their final like decision was. Like,
what? Sam Presti is a genius, man. He's a genius. I was looking at his his record, right, for everything he's drafted and traded away and everything. Mm-hmm. And at times when I thought he was making dumb trades, they ended up panning out, right? Like times when he was trading Serge Ibaka, I guess he figured out he got the most out of him, right? Yeah. And it was time to let him go. And he's been able to turn those, players into long-term assets, right? The time he traded
buy low, sell high, right?
Reggie Jackson away. Like, I remember I was looking sideways at those trades, and now you look back and it's like, oh, it wasn't so bad at all. So
everything he does is, he was cool. He came up in that Spurs organization with their guy is legit. The RC Buford dude down there, man, he is. So they had him, and just the story of how he landed. Did you ever hear the story of how Presti landed with the Spurs? How we got his break?
No,
so he was refereeing. He was refereeing a game. And he was just like running up and down the court, like pitching himself to like RC Buford and like Popovich and all that, like while he's refereeing a game.
Wow.
And like kept pushing. And they're like, he's sitting here like politicking with us, not missing a single call on the court. Like it just like they just grabbed him like right away, like, you're coming with us. And then they knew they wouldn't have him long. Yeah, once they got him in the building, they knew they wouldn't have him long because he'd be running his own franchise, right? So it was. But yeah, that guy, you're right, because I feel he's a top 3 executive in the league. Like if he was in like a major market, like a team that had a major budget, like I'm really surprised that no one has plucked him out of there yet, because it's got to be because he doesn't want to leave. Because
I mean, even just the recent trade he did for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. Look at that highway robbery.
God,
He set up his franchise for years to come, and he got rid of this, part-time player. It's ridiculous, man.
They got so many damn picks, because he's also a genius too, because he basically turned his team into a bloated contract parking lot, right? So it's like, okay, look, we'll take this contract, we'll park it here for this season. You're gonna give us this for it though. So he's laundering money essentially, right? Like send us your guys, we're gonna clean it, we'll get them out of here, we'll do it. But not only do they do it, but they took bad contracts and then thrived with it. Like when they made that Chris Paul deal.
Yep.
Like not only did they
made the playoffs here, right?
But they also saved his career, right?
Yeah.
Because when he got moved on from Houston, everyone was like, that's a horrible contract and he's done.
Yep.
He goes over to OKC, has a tremendous season in leading them, then goes to Phoenix, ends up in the finals. So it's like, that shit was crazy. Yeah, this is a good point, Angie. Who else do you think OKC is going to waive? I know they just waived one. They got a 2-way player recently, and I know they had 20 guys, right? Let me load them up real quick. That's something what the Lakers are going to. I think that's another reason what the Lakers are really waiting for. You got guys that you got teams that got bloated rosters right now. Now they can carry them, right now, but they've got to get down to 15 and the 3 2-way guys, right? So OKC has, let's see here. Oh, this is.
They got some talented players.
They got 19 players right now.
Oh, really? I remember when they waived Isaiah Roby last year. I think San Antonio picked him up. I was shocked.
They just waived Ty Washington.
Oh, he's decent too.
This is a dude that just got waived. Like you could have traded him for something at some point, right? But you can't carry him into the season. Right. So it's like, they waived Ty Washington. And they still got 19 players. Their 2-way situation is they got Keontae Johnson. They put on a 2-way. So they still potentially can convert 2 guys. Well, I don't know if all these guys, not necessarily all of them. They got 2 2-way slots. So they're definitely carrying 15 players. So they're going to probably end up with 3 2-way guys. But they got 19 guys on their roster right now. Oh. And if you're looking at we're sorting this by salary for guys that they're probably not going to get rid of, and you start getting down into the who would be, this is not going to happen, Angie. This is, my God, I wish this would happen. This is not going to happen. But if they waived Isaiah Joe, oh my God.
Yeah, that would be a great pickup.
My God, that would be the dream. This dude, like when I watch his games, like I swear I never see this dude miss. I know he does. That's just never when I'm watching. Like this dude just cooks. And and he's sitting there on where he's he, let me see what he's looking at here. So yeah, he's low money, a little under $2 million. But how long is he signed for?
By the way, if I could, I think I forgot to answer one of Angie's questions. I'm looking at it right here.
Right.
Said, who else would I put in as a filler in the Kyrie Irving potential trade? Well, I was just asking, hypothetically speaking. I wanted to see what Jeff thought. Personally, I wouldn't trade nobody on the team. I want to see what we have first. And I like our depth. So, yeah, if that answers your question, Angie. I was just, I like to pick people's brains and see how they think, because I have my own opinions about stuff. So, yeah, I really wanted to know what Empire Jeff thought.
Sometimes Dan likes to see how twisted I am, too. So he's trying to see, like, how crazy is he going to take this? But, no, but I mean, it's a conversation, right, that has to be out there, right? So, I hope they do, and we claim him off waivers. Oh, yeah, man, I would love to get Isaiah Joe. I'm telling you right now, if the Lakers do nothing else, but I would rather, this is going to sound crazy to a lot of people because maybe they haven't seen him play, but I'd rather have Isaiah Joe than Christian Wood.
Oh, that is a hot take, but I like it.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, if you guys have not seen him play, and I know YouTube highlights will make it seem like he makes everything, but I'm telling you, if you actually watch an entire game, especially when he's played us, like, dude, and I don't know, he just seems like a guy that won't get rattled in LA to me. I don't know why.
There's some gems that when the Lakers get their hands on them, they really, they just like Rui, right? Could be like one of those type of players. And I'm excited about a couple of the free agent acquisitions that we have that I think are going to be like that, right? Same thing with Gabe Vincent. Like he played under pressure If you can play under Pat Riley, you can make it anywhere. So I'm not worried about him at all, right? So there's players like that. I'm curious about Cam Reddish, see how he translates under Phil Handy. And same thing with Jackson Hayes. I think those are going to be the biggest project players we have this offseason. But the rest, I mean, we got some pretty proven players, man. So that's what's exciting.
We absolutely do.
And Joe is nice too. I've seen him play, and I don't know if I'm on board with the over Christian Wood, but I mean, it's not far fetched. It's not something.
No, I'm just saying because like what I guess what I'm saying is if we're just talking about filling a need, and if we're in a vacuum and we take away Christian Wood's potential chemistry issues, then yeah. But I'm talking about just fit for this team. I expect 2020 vibes from this team from a chemistry standpoint. I really think
I agree.
They're going to have it. I really think they're going to have it. And I think guys like Isaiah Joe, guys like that, the Gabe Vincents, those type of guys, I think contribute towards that narrative more than a Christian Wood would. You know what I mean? Pun intended. But what I'm saying is that is not to say Christian Wood is not good and getting him on a minimum would be great, but you get a sniper like Isaiah Joe. I mean, theoretically, they could get both. But if Isaiah Joe gets waived, and as Angie said, we have exceptions that we could snatch people up in. So it's like, and that's another thing that teams do in this league, right? So and agents do. They work with a team, they're like, and once they get agreement that they'll be waived, then their agents back channel and like, look, my guy's gonna be waived. Don't touch him. He's already picked his destination. And then we'll do this for you next time one of our guys pick you type of thing. That happens a lot. So, so that type of, let me see what we got here. True. Rui did already. Yeah, he wasn't, that's definitely wasn't saying like trade Rui. It was, like I said, we were talking hypothetically. And like I said, and he also made, Dan also made a great point about we do find these gems that come over here, like the Ruiz and the guys that do these things. And it's funny because we get guys who can shoot, get here and then can't shoot. Then we get a guy like Rui gets here and just turns into a dead-eye fucking shooter. You know what I mean?
What was it? 53% from beyond the arc?
Yeah. That Memphis series alone was bananas.
No wonder that boy got paid, man. But not only that, he has defensive potential. He's an athlete. He's in the prime of his career. Not even in the prime yet, but I mean, he's still, 24 years of age, and he's still got room to grow. That's the scary part about Rui.
Yeah, man. I was Chris, can we do the show every weekend? yeah. You got to come on too, Chris. We'll bring you on too.
Chris, come on, Chris.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, let me drop the link for Chris here, see if he wants to pull up. Let me see. Damn, what was I just saying?
No, we're talking about the potential Rui.
Oh yeah, so I was watching. I actually watched more Wizards games that I should have because I still keep an eye on Kuz. I still root for him. Yeah. I still support him. And I was watching him, especially like, those early games, so like got him on to watch it. And then I know that Rui wasn't playing a ton, but I saw this one game and he literally he kind of had like a moment, like a glimpse of it, like that he had in that Memphis series. It was like just a run. It was like a 3-minute run in a quarter that they played him and he just was cooking. Right. Yep. And I was like, look at Rui. And then and then they didn't play him much after that and like this, that. And then it was like, part of me was like, they were probably already talking. It was like, get him on the floor. Let's see if this guy is, can he still play? Yeah. They showed him out there. They showcased him because it wasn't too long before the Lakers traded for him.
You know what it is, bro? I'll tell you what it is that those losing franchises, they don't know how to keep a good asset and build on it. They get impatient and they try to flip it for the next best toy because they have so many draft picks that they're constantly, getting new toys to tinker with. While the Lakers, right? It reminds me of like a spoiled child versus a child that never gets nothing. The Lakers rarely have lottery picks because we're always winning. So when we get young talent, we salivate over them and we end up developing them. And if they maximize their own opportunity, they get to the next level, right? And so I think that's the difference between a lottery team versus a team like the Lakers, who when we get young talent, that's why I get excited, man, when we trade for young players or we sign young players like Cam Reddish and Jackson Hayes. Because one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? That's how it goes with the Lakers.
Yeah, so, and I think the Lakers have perfected the art of selling. Like, look, we could trade our lottery pick. We're going to get him back in the future. You know what I mean? Exactly. Or get your lottery pick, or get someone like we're going to get lottery level talent and reconstruct them to what they should be because you're going to fuck them up. So the Lakers are like the AD trade. Like I said, what I mean? Like you hit on there. So it's like the Lakers. When they get young talent and keep young talent is rarer than when they have the potential to get young talent and move it for like a star player, right? But when they actually do it, the Lakers have mastered the way of finding better talent late. And they're like, why do we need to keep these early picks when they've got so much value? We'll buy a second rounder. We'll find a diamond in the rough, and we'll get assets for this, you know.
In the future,
and then we'll collect one of these guys. I guarantee you, the Lakers looked at this year's draft, saw a guy they liked 1 through 15.
We'll get him year 4, year 5.
We'll have this guy in like 3 years. Yeah.
Yep.
Let them go and let him get all his stuff out of his system, all his BS out of his system. Let him spend some money. Let him learn to be a pro.
Let him lose his virginity over there. Nice in season. That's what happened with we've got so many young players, and I feel like we teach young men how to be winners. That's what we did with Trevor Ariza, man. When Phil Jackson got his hands on Trevor Ariza, I mean, he was a journeyman before then, right? I think he got drafted by the Knicks, and he went to Orlando, or vice versa, either one. And then he lands on.
No, that was it. That was it, because we got him from Orlando. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah. Then he lands it on the Lakers, and I remember, I'm looking at this young cat like, oh man, we got a UCLA guy, and he's lanky, and we've been desperate for a wing. Kind of reminds me where we're at now with like guys like Vando and Rui. It's like we were so desperate for wings, and all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? Like one of those Rob Pelinka quotes, like water in the desert, man.
Pelinka, yeah. Like water in the desert. Here comes,
He'll say something crazy like bread and water and wine in the I don't know, something crazy. And then they landed here, and I was shocked at the asking price for these guys. Like I did not think that Jared Vanderbilt would be attainable. I heard his name in the rumor mill.
Yeah.
But when we actually got him in a package with D'Angelo for West Brick, that is when I knew we were going to make a run, But wow, it's been awesome, man. The way the Lakers operate, our front office is second to none, and they're very intelligent. They work with what they have. We have great resources. I mean, we are LA. At the end of the day, we're a top landing free agent destination.
Yep. So
we use that to our advantage, and everything else comes second to that.
True. And when you get a disgruntled star that wants to throw a tantrum and throw a fit, we got him there too. Oh, speaking of, hold on, let me put this real quick. Let me put my man's graphic back on the screen here so we can pull him up here. Let the world see his work.
Yes.
What's going on, Chris?
Yo, this is amazing. Like I said, man, you got to do this every weekend, man. This is so entertaining and so much info. I love it.
Empire Jeff is a goat in his own right. Like I said, man, this is his empire. We're just living in it.
Oh yeah, that's we need to put that on a T-shirt.
But check it out. You're the goat of graphics, man. We want to shout
for sure.
All summer long, bro.
That's not what this show is about, man.
We're gonna make it about that.
We show love right here. Hey, Chris, you're part of the show. Your graphics on the screen, bro.
Bro.
Absolutely, we gotta talk about it.
Yeah.
No, man, you guys, man, again, just like I always say, thank you guys for the opportunity and just giving me a chance, and then just letting me show you, I got talent. It's not just all talk, I can walk the walk here.
Chris is a humble giant. That's what he is, man.
Facts.
He don't understand how much of a beast he is, he's a humble giant, man. Like, I appreciate you, Chris, and so does Empire Jeff, man. We appreciate you, bro.
Oh,
facts. I appreciate you guys too, and I just always love being on a team because that's when I could shine the most. I don't feel like I do my best alone, so when I'm on a team, especially now with you guys, I feel like I could support more. I could just pump you guys up when you need it. When you guys need that little extra push, you could always send me a text and be like, hey, you know what, and I'll give you some type of little push, and it's just energy. That's what I feel that you guys bring. So I just got to bring my little part.
Translation: He's Shaquille O'Neal, the big diesel. Throw him a lob and he's gonna dunk it home.
he's got a better work ethic than Shaq, though.
That's true.
But Chris, you could talk ball too, man. You definitely can. So let's talk about this real quick. You created this graphic. Give the thought behind the process of Harden here with pudgy ass Daryl Mory on the puppet strings here.
I definitely feel you when you were talking about the Dwight thing when they were in his ear, because that was a big thing back then, right? And so I don't know if a lot of the people watching now remember, but it was one of the few times where the Lakers actually paid to get a billboard on the Staples Center that said "Stay Dwight." It's one of the few times they've actually pitched it that way, where before then it was you either want to be here or you don't. Remember, it was when Kobe said, if we have to pitch you, you shouldn't be here. So
Yep.
yeah, that was definitely opened. I think that was when I finally learned that these GMs, they do tamper, and they are in players' ears. So
facts.
yeah.
Yeah, and they were all over Dwight for most of that season. So a report that came out that like when the Rockets had played the Lakers early in that season, that like they
Yes.
went to the locker room to talk to him. They had no shame about it. Like everyone knew around here that he was basically. Well, there's a thing though. The Mavericks did too. The Mavericks was on him too. So like there was a thing that they were saying. Mark Stein, who's a legend and he's in NBA reporting. He's not with ESPN anymore. He's on Substack, but he is still like I pay for his content because I'm telling you that boy is. I've been following him a very long time, and I got some stories about Mark, man. But he said he came on ESPN radio here in LA during that time, and they said, "Where are you going? Where are you going? Like put money on it right now." And then he starts naming all these teams. He goes, "Can I just pick Texas?" Because he's going to one of those two teams. Like they're literally like the two girls that are trying to take him right now, basically. And they're like, and this was during the season. And those guys were constantly. That's kind of what led to a lot of the issues on that team, is because they were kind of like edging him to like kind of piss Kobe off because they knew Kobe would snap and get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And they did that the whole season.
That's crazy, man. That season had to be one of the most disappointing of all time, man. I just remember all the Hall of Fame talent we had. I know I wasn't the only one at least expecting a finals run with Dwight, Steve Nash, Kobe, Pau Gasol, and Meta World Peace. I knew it was going to be an uphill battle because this was the first time being on the team. Plus, Steve Nash was coming with back problems already from Phoenix.
Yeah.
But man, it was really, truly disappointing how it ended. And of course, Kobe tearing his Achilles, playing his heart out that season. It was even more, it was more disappointing because I was like, man, he was on a tear. People forget before he tore his Achilles, he was on an absolute tear. And I think he would have willed that team potentially to the Western Conference Finals the way he was playing had he stayed healthy.
It's possible, yeah.
Remember that Toronto game that year?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I put that injury on D'Antoni, and I always will, for not having the fortitude to tell Kobe, hey, relax, take a break, or sit down for this quarter, don't play the whole quarter. And I just mean that throughout the season, not just that game. It just you're the coach, you should run it. I know it's Kobe, but man, you got to tell him to because he won't do it on his own. You got to tell greatness to just take a break.
Mike D'Antoni had so much talent on his rosters. He's such a scrub because he was just so stubborn about his style of play. He would never try to incorporate defense into his teams. He thought he could just outgun every team, like we're in the Wild Wild West days or something. My favorite moment from his career was when Phil Jackson told him to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I remember that. He called him something too. He told him shut the fuck up, and then he called him something else. Like I forgot. Phil got a little cranky with him one night.
And listen, he shut up, and he was boiling. He turned red, man, looking like Pringles. It was crazy to see.
Yeah, and I would love to hear Gasol's thoughts on D'Antoni. Like what are like unfiltered, right? Just what do you think? Like why? There's no reason. Well, there is a reason why he benched you, but he wanted that 3-point shooting big man. But at the time, Gasol was I don't want to say it was in his prime, but he was towards the end of it, but was still talented and probably still more talented as some of the guys we had on the bench. But I think there's still a lot of faults on and I don't want to put everything on D'Antoni, but it's still a team game. Everybody has, their issues and faults, but he should have just stepped up. Like, dude, you're running this team. You're running the Lakers. This is not, the Vancouver Grizzlies at the time. This is the Lakers. You're in Hollywood. I say it all the time. These bright lights will burn you, man.
They sure will. And I often think, man, if only they chose Phil Jackson that season instead of D'Antoni. And that's the first part.
Wow.
And the second part is Gasol was still playing at an all-star level that year. Matter of fact, when they got D'Antoni, I remember thinking that the biggest impact that he was that a player on that team was going to be Gasol, because you have a versatile big like that who can shoot, he can post, he can pass, he can put the ball on the floor, he's intelligent. Like I kept thinking like this it's going to enhance his game with Nash. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, and then he just completely like just dissed him and didn't want to mess with him. But if I could channel my inner Phil Jackson, you know what he would probably say to D'Antoni right now is, he would be like, if you ever added someone like, if you ever like had Tom Thibodeau on your bench, and maybe you'd be a complete coach because you can't coach a league of defense. Could you imagine if those two ever like connected? Like if Tibbs was like vice versa, Tibbs a head coach with D'Antoni on the bench, or
that would have been
D'Antoni a head coach with Tibbs on the bench, because
could have been a championship.
Like fuck what you heard, that 2008 Celtics team would not be a champion if Tom Thibodeau was not on their bench, because their defense was nutty.
Oh yeah.
Big facts, man. It's just one of those things. I hate going back to think about it, but man, like, Mike D'Antoni was definitely the wrong hire for that team, man. You needed somebody stern like Phil Jackson who could throw books at motherfuckers when they get out of line. Yeah. That's what we needed. We didn't need Mike D'Antoni stroking their egos and running Kobe into the ground. We needed somebody stern and who had championship history and could come in and just, run the triangle offense. I think everybody would have been happy because Kobe respected Phil, right? Even though early on they didn't have a greatest relationship, he always respected him. So he would have fell in line just like Jordan. And it's a shame that Jimmy McDumbass had to, come through with his horse racing self, and that was where the biggest clown years. I remember going on a rant in my early YouTube days and just saying, hey, listen, as long as Jim Dumbass is running the helm, Lakers will be down, right? We got to get rid of him. He's the main problem. I identified him. I locked in, and
he was
calling out names.
Yeah, he was even bad at the press conferences. Do you guys remember him?
Yeah, he was horrible.
Show up and talk.
Yeah, he was horrible.
Talking. I was like, dude, you didn't prepare for this. You have millions of dollars. You could have took a class. You could have had your people coach you. Like, it was no good.
He didn't have the passion for it, brother. That's what it was.
No.
He was into horse racing.
Dude showed up looking like he worked at a warehouse. You know what I mean?
That's another thing.
You know what I mean? Like, he just looked like, I get it. There's a lot of rich motherfuckers who don't dress like they're rich, and I'm totally fine with that. But what I'm saying is, like, but they I don't know. There's a dude that's rich and then dresses like someone who don't got money, and it doesn't necessarily look crazy, right? But like, you see a dude like Jim Buss, and you're a part like one of the major owner of the Lakers, and I don't know. That's just weird. I used to think about that. Like, this dude just looks like he works at a warehouse. It's crazy.
Yeah. If anybody could go back and watch those highlights of when they signed Dwight and everybody, he's like awkward when they're taking the pictures, holding up the jerseys and all that. He looks so awkward. Like, he doesn't know how to stand. He could have been
picking them apart already. Huh?
I know. Yeah. I remember. Listen, I still remember the day that CP3 was canceled. So that I was excited the whole day, and then later on, a couple hours later, it's that whole thing got shut down.
Bro, me and my brother were jumping and hugging when we heard that the trade, and we were like, and we still kept buying them.
Yeah.
We were just like, it's wraps.
I was hugging people I didn't even like. Like, when that trade happened, I was super, because like you said, the way, in my inner nerd hit, and I started looking, I was like, wait a minute, whoa, we got him for, and then I looked, and I've got a whole video coming on this, and I'm gonna tell you, like,
oh, nice.
There's a lot of people don't have, I think I've told Dan this before too. There's a lot of people don't have all the facts straight on what really went down with this, but it's But I will tell you, when I saw what they were getting, what was coming next, and how they freed up money in that deal, I was just like, oh my God. And then it just, and I was like, this is too good to be true. Like, this is too good to be true. It has to be. And in the end, it was, because that trade, well, anyways, I don't want to too much away right now, but that trade, like, that would have changed the history of the game.
Yeah.
In my mind.
Probably would have ended up with 8 rings, man. He probably would have retired at 45. You know what I'm saying?
That was the
like Chris Paul. Take all that pressure off of him. Look, no disrespect to Fisher. This guy is elite. But Chris Paul in his prime, Kobe had never played with a guard of that magnitude in his prime. Two-way player, floor general.
Nope.
Oh my goodness, that would have been.
And Chris Paul would have had a championship by now, and it would have been
Multiple.
it would have been that's Kobe's career would have been extended. More than likely, D'Antoni would never have been there, and it was
I think David Stern would still be alive right now had that trade went down.
Yeah, God bless. I know. Look. I know a lot of people hate David Stern because of that one deal, but I'll tell you though, this league that we love. You know,
he made it what it
allow
is.
us, allow us to have these channels. Him, Dr. Buss, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. Those four guys. There's others, obviously. But they were the main driving force in this league that we love today. And guys like us get on here and talk basketball with people all over the world as a result of it. You know what I mean? So even though David Stern was a fucking
I definitely appreciate what he did for the game, bro. I feel
for sure.
I just like to crack jokes at it just because of that moment. But to be honest with you, God rest his soul, man. Rest in peace, David Stern. Now I'll say this, right? If that trade doesn't get vetoed, right, for basketball reasons, quote unquote, how many damn championships you got Kobe ending up with? I got him at 8.
Well, he had 5 at that point, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. That was Kobe was how old was Kobe that year?
I think it was 34.
Yeah.
So that was 2012, right?
Yeah.
He retired in 2016 at 37.
I think so. 37 or 38. One of those.
Okay. Let's call him 33, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, so yeah. I mean, I would say that Kobe would have at least 5 more years. 3 of those still dominant.
Yep.
I could see him getting another 2 to 3 chips. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I would say, God, I mean, you always like you going the same line. Yeah. I would say, I could see them getting 2 to 3 chips because I could see Chris Paul carrying a lot of the weight during the regular season as far as like mileage, right? And then that would free up Kobe to do his thing. But yeah, I would go on. I would say minimum 7. But I would say that I could see them. Oh, that would have been crazy. I could see them getting a 3-peat. I could. I really could.
Yeah.
Because once
and
Kobe,
that's exactly what I told my brother. I turned and I told my brother, "Here comes another trilogy." I told him right when the trade happened. I was ecstatic, bro, and my heart sank into my butthole when the motherfuckers canceled that shit, bro. Like it was a fatality, bro. I remember I didn't want to eat that day. I was mad. I was breaking shit. I was a teenager when that happened. So I was really furious when they blocked that trade. And I remember them saying they're going to try to appeal it, right? But then the stupid-ass Clippers came in. And this is when I really started hating them because I didn't hate them before this. They swept in, right? And they facilitated a deal, right? Facilitated was the word they used, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They facilitated that shit, and they stole Chris Paul right from under. I do believe that trade still would have got done if they would have restructured that package. That's all.
There's like I said, that's part of the story, man.
Okay.
There are like I'm telling you, I have one because what maybe I'll do it next week because like I said, I kind of knew immediately because obviously I'm one that studies the economics of the game. I'll always have. When I was younger, my grandpa used to like make me like come up with trades that made sense. He goes, think like a GM. And he would make me come up because I don't want to hear you talking about, don't bring no bullshit to me saying you're going to trade like this person for like a Hall of Famer. It doesn't work that way. You got to know, don't be out here talking stupid in these streets when it comes to sports. You represent me, grow up. I'm like, all right, grandpa, got you. You know what I mean? So from a very young age, like my grandpa I would like, you know, study these stories, learn to pay attention to media's words, right? And how they're leveraging things. Look, like box scores, look at contracts, look at the way teams build organizations. So I was already like on that level of, you know, of doing that stuff, right? So when that trade started coming, when it came out and it came together, immediately, I said this earlier tonight, immediately I was like, this is too good to be true. Like, there's no way, like, there's no way that this is the deal. Like, there has to be more. Like, there's something. There's no way that that's what's being reported. that this is the deal. Like, okay, cool, we got him, but I figured like stuff was going to come out later, another player or two or something like pick. Like there was going to be something else involved here, right? I just remember thinking, no way. And then I got to a point where I was like, shit, this shit happened. It's happening, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, obviously it happens hours later, you know, it goes on. And this was okay, I'm gonna stay away real quick. But then so let's just say this was in 2012, right? This is 11 years of and I'm not a guy like, and Dan knows this. I'm out in LA, like it's not really hard to find people to cover the league around here. And it's really not hard to stay in touch with people to cover the league around here. If you're cool, you don't burn them, you don't take their ideas and pass it on as your own, right? Which a lot of people do. If you just show them the respect they deserve and prove that they can trust you, then bro, you get information that you can only dream of getting. Okay.
Yes.
Dream. If I could tell you some of the stuff that I've heard of trades that almost happened or did happen, like the Lakers one, then fell apart, or like a player that wanted to go or a player that hated this one, but everyone thought like, but at the end of the day, most of the stuff I can't repeat because it's stuff that they say, you know, between you and me. There's times I'll go and be like, hey, can I talk about this? And I'll be like, wait 6 months. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? And then I'll go, but mainly, to be honest, what they mainly do for me, what I mainly like do is I'll get a hunch of something, or my brain will pick up on something, and I'll hit them up and I'll be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Am I crazy or am I onto something? And they'll be like, keep digging. You're onto something. And then they give me the confidence to know that I'm onto something, and I go from there and form my own opinion, right? Okay. So long story short, I've got 10 years of talking to people, and I'm talking, the number is not shy of 20 people about the situation, right?
Right.
And they've all told me I'm spot on. They've all told me I'm spot on with my assessment of it. And I even mentioned stuff that they didn't think of. And they're like, holy shit, hindsight, that's right. And it's not as when I explain this, it ain't gonna change the fact that it hurts. It ain't gonna change the fact that it fucking sucks. It ain't gonna change the fact that Kobe should have had 8 fucking championships. It ain't gonna change the fact that we may have actually liked that little fucking Muppet Chris Paul, not hated him his whole career. It ain't gonna change none of that shit, right? It ain't gonna change it.
But it'll give us closure.
Yeah, but what it will do, it will bring you, it'll make you kind of understand that maybe some of y'all are hating the wrong people in this situation. And that's what I don't want to apply hate to people.
Let me tell you something, bro. I think I know exactly what you're talking about, because my gut always tells me things, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'll talk to you or like I'll tell you before the, but what I'm saying is like I think people are gonna be a little like and again, there's breadcrumbs out here to this. People just aren't looking for it, right? There's breadcrumbs out there.
Bro, you better announce when you're dropping this episode, because I'm gonna be all here.
Baby. Oh yeah. Let's see. I mean, let's say I'm gonna aim for next week. All right. You know, my work schedule is crazy, but I'm gonna aim for next week.
My brain's already working on the graphic.
But I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it a little further. I'm gonna talk about a couple, because I'm passionate about a few things that I want to like bring light to, and this situation is absolutely one of them, and that I'm going to touch on. So, so that situation, like the beginning of the end, really. So Dan touched on when the Lakers decided, when Jim Buss decided to hire Mike D'Antoni instead of Phil Jackson because of a beef with his sister. That was the beginning of the end of Jim Buss, of the Jim Buss era. That was the beginning of the end of it. And then
working out of spite.
Yeah.
You can't succeed.
But that the failed Chris Paul trade was the beginning of the end of Kobe's career, to be honest. Dark. So at the end of the day, like because the thing is, don't get me wrong. And I'm not saying because the Lakers, I'm telling you right now, and Dan touched on this earlier. The Lakers post All-Star break that year that Kobe tore his Achilles, they were the best in the fucking league. Mm-hmm. They had put it together, they had figured it out, and they were coming for motherfuckers. I'm telling you.
Yep.
And that, for anyone that wasn't into the game like that then, or just, they just got fucking, the attention span of a dish rag and can't remember it, do yourself a favor. And I'm just telling you right now that Kobe's 81 is not one of the most incredible games versus Toronto. That's not the only incredible game versus Toronto you're ever going to see from Kobe. 81 is an all-time epic historical that even if someone dropped 90, it is not the same. But what I'm saying is, watch that Toronto game, especially the fourth quarter and overtime that season, and tell me who was stopping that motherfucker that year.
You're talking about the one where they were double teaming him in the corner. He was fucking fading away.
Yeah. He did like 3 shots in that game. And shout out to Steve Nash. Steve Nash hit a major 3-pointer in that game too. It was all coming together. It was all coming together. And I remember my one of my good friends, shout out to my boy Saul, right? This fool, like where I was living at the time, just you know, these LA streets, man, horrible parking, bro. Like just nothing. This dude decides there's a liquor store at the corner. He decides to drive instead of walk because I have no idea why he did that. He comes back, took him like 20 minutes to find parking, right? He comes back in and like the whole place is going crazy. He's like, what just happened? Because he left thinking the game's over. And then he got there right at the point where Kobe started taking over, and he was just like amazed, right? He just talking so much. I missed this whole fucking comeback.
That's the reason, man. That's the reason.
That's why you never left the game when Kobe was playing.
Yeah,
never.
Exactly.
But that's the reason Kobe is my GOAT, man, is the degree of difficulty shots he hit in clutch situations. I never seen anybody duplicate that. The closest thing to him was Jordan. And I won't say he's the closest to Jordan. I'll say the closest thing to him was Jordan. That's why Kobe will always be my GOAT, man. But on that note, fellas, I gotta let y'all go, man, because I gotta go pick up my cousin from work. I lost track of time. He was about to be out there waiting for me. But I appreciate
I appreciate you, man. Yeah, this stream went longer than I thought too. Just us talking ball can go forever.
Okay.
I might end this too. But hey, Dan, I appreciate you fooling up, man. Chris, appreciate for the artwork. Let me put Chris's artwork back on.
Appreciate you too, Chris. Much love, brother.
Hey,
so appreciate that. You be safe, and I'll be talking. I'll hit you up tomorrow, Dan. We'll talk about that.
All right, brother. Sounds good. Have a good one, guys.
You too, man. And Chris, appreciate you, man.
I'll step
Thank you so much for the artwork.
No problem, man.
I'll talk to you guys. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for tuning in and it being a great show. You know, the GOAT, Dan, the Laker fan, pulled up. You know, he's always gracious and having me on his show for Around the League. Been on there aside from Around the League as well. He's always, you know, a tremendous host for me, and it's an honor and a privilege to have him, you know, come on the show today. Also, my guy Christian, it's a real good dude right there. He's a good friend of mine too, so it's really good to have him come on. And shout out to DJ Lakers in 5. Like I said, I felt like it was like a lot of the guys I spent a lot of time talking basketball with on other channels pulled up, and we got to, you know, talk ball on my channel. This is the first time Angie pulled up to my channel, so I feel like my mom made it. You know what I mean? I feel like I accomplished some things today, and you know what I mean? So like, I'm going to really try to drop that video next week about what really happened in that Chris Paul to the Lakers trade, because there's a lot of false narratives out there about that. And again, I think you guys might be mad at the wrong people in that situation. I've also got another video coming out. So today was going to be the video just breaking down the James Harden situation, potentially a Joel Embiid situation. I was planning to do my other video first, but then this one rose to the top, and then with the hurricane potentially hitting, so or this weather, I don't think where I'm at, I'm going to face a hurricane. I'm going to face some crazy rain for sure. But the next video I'm going to do is going to be talking about it's going to be about Dame, the situation in Portland. You guys know how I love me some Portland, right? And how Dame is to blame for the shit show in Portland. And that's going to be my next video, and that'll be in the coming days. I might do it tomorrow, Monday, if the weather permits. Angie's the first time you caught me live. I appreciate it, man. We got to figure out, because I know you don't pull up to these streams. You body it in the chat, but we got to get you on one of these streams. You know, I've got the equipment for a call in. You know, I've got the, you know, or you know, whatever is restricting you from being on these streams, or if you just like being in the chat. I don't know if you just, you know, don't want to be on any of these streams, but you're always welcome here. And you know, having you even in the chat is a blessing. But if you ever want to, I'm interested to hear you talk ball, though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, because you're with it. You know your shit. It's very rare that I can speak a language with someone on here and they understand the books and the money up to my level or even better. And you know, and you know your shit. So it'd be really dope for not only for myself, but for the whole YouTube community, for all the people whose chat you contribute to. It would be great to get you on one of these shows, and I'd be honored if it would be mine. So we got to figure something out for that. I don't know if you you know, I don't know if you're on any socials, but on Twitter at EmpireJeff _ Instagram at EmpireJeff, and you can always send me a message on one of those, and we can try to make it happen, or not. Let me see. As long as it's the video, because times of working, it can't be. Oh yeah, no, it'll be totally, like, half the time I can't be on video. That's, you know, I've got a great setup as far as equipment, but a lot of times, you know, I'm not at the at the desk where I got my camera, or I'm working on some stuff too. And you know, I'm a multitasker, so sometimes I'll be doing stuff that I can't have my camera on either. So I'm cool like that. That's perfectly fine. Even if I've got a panel where everyone's got the camera on and you don't, I'm fine with that. Like I don't care. Like that's no problem. So we'll come up with something. Just try to find a way to get in contact with me. And we'll go for that again. At EmpireJeff _ on Twitter, at EmpireJeff on Instagram. And we will we'll go from there. I can even hold on real quick. Actually, matter of fact, I'll do something. I'll do something easy real quick, and I'll delete it. I have a ton of people in here right now. Hold on. So actually, yeah. So you could just email. I don't want to put the at, but that's it right there. So you could just email me, and we'll go ahead and we'll line something up, and whatever you prefer. And God, I'm going to delete it. But we'll definitely line something up there. And gotcha, cool. We'll line something up because I guarantee there's a lot of people that want to hear you and want to hear you talk ball. And me, from like from a hosting perspective, I would love to have you on my show. But also as a fan of basketball, I'd like to hear you talk ball. So especially like it'd be kind of cool, like if one of us are talking, the other can actually look at the numbers, because it's hard to do it when you're hosting, you know. So I can do it a ton when I'm a guest or when I'm like just in a chat, but when you're hosting, it's tough. So I could use someone that speaks that language with me, because that would definitely help. So let me see. Hey Chris, thank you, bro. Thank you, brother, for the graphic. Thank you for your continued support. You're a real one. You know that for sure. You know what it is. But all right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. I told you the next video will be about Dame, and then next week I'm gonna try to get you that what really happened with the Chris Paul situation video. We'll get that out. As always, thanks for the support. Trying to grow this channel. I know it's my fault because I'm not as consistent as I should be. I need to start paying a little bit more attention to my channel, but it's just too fun to talk shit on other people's channels sometimes. But I got to focus on mine. In the meantime, again, thank you for everyone for spending time with me. Like I said, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. You guys have yourself a good night. Like I said, you can follow me on Twitter at EmpireJeff _ right here on YouTube at EmpireJeffTV, on Linktree EmpireJeff, where all my stuff is listed. And again, I appreciate y'all, and I'll catch y'all soon. Y'all have yourself a good rest of the night. And if you in Cali, you in LA, stay safe. Hope you and your family are good with this weather that's coming. All right, guys, have a good night.